I have a few different questions for you, if that's all right.
Fire away.
Cool. How did you use field experience, or what, products or services have you previously used?
We've used a lot.
Okay.
We started, a lot of our students have done some of the L&D, the individual lessons, through encouragement from us and our career engagement office. If they're looking to, maybe just fine tune some of those soft skills that maybe we don't hit on or don't have as much individual time to take with those students, we'll use some of those individual learning tools for the students to kind of do those on their own, and like I said, hone in on maybe some certain deficiencies or areas of improvement and growth that they can work on. So a lot of the students have done that a little bit on their own through, again, our career engagement office, and through myself encouraging them, just to give them some other outlets of how they can develop those skills. One of the best things I think that we've done with field experience is connecting it with some of our courses, where some of the lessons and the teachings are happening kind of simultaneous to the coursework in some of our courses. So it's kind of going, hand in hand with just the traditional curriculum in the classroom.
Okay.
We've been able to kind of connect some of those, like I said, those soft skills, those things that employers are looking for right now, to go with the actual book knowledge that you have in this industry, in sport business and hospitality business. So we've connected it with some of our classes. One of the best ones is typically our senior capstone class. Prior to COVID, basically, I guess kind of as COVID happened, we were connecting with some of those courses and field experience to then be able to go and work some of the events. So the lessons are happening in the classroom, the curriculum's happening in the classroom, with the intention of our students then to go out and work some of these events. So build up the skill sets and then go have those firsthand experiences on site. Obviously COVID put a little bit of a damper on that with being able to get out and work some of these events. But the cool thing is we were able to kind of pivot. A lot of our students were able to pivot and do some stuff online. So they're able to do some online internships and stuff like that to still be able to continue the development, but we weren't able to be on the ground at these events like we have in the past. So I think that was one of the coolest things, and one of the things that we will look to continue to do with FieldX is how can we tie it into the curriculum that we have to connect kind of, again, that book smarts, the book knowledge, the academic side of it with the real world experience out there in the field as well. So those are kind of the big ones. And they were big and small. Like we did some big time events. That's a big part of what our program is experiential learning, is we try to get all of our students out there and engaging with industry leaders and engaging with, the events and activities that they look to eventually end up working in. We give them kind of the taste test of it. What's it like? And oftentimes the students will kind of figure out what they do and don't want to do with their degree through those experiential learning pieces. So it's always been a big part of our program, and FieldX was kind of a nice little addition to what we've already been doing.
Oh, that's so awesome. So how many students were involved, and what was the overall engagement like? So just expanding on that level of engagement.
I don't have a specific number for you because I know some of them actually worked independently of our courses and worked independently of me and went ahead and got internships and were working with FieldX independent of us. But again, our typical class size for Concordia is anywhere from 15 to 20 students. And typically the senior capstone, because it runs both semesters, is about 10 to 12. So normally one class would be 20 students. It's broken up into 2 different semesters. So, I would say anywhere on any given semester, 10 to 20 students that are doing something connected to FieldX.
Okay.
And again, just those between the online learning and again, the in-class learning, and then even being able to get out to these events, kind of those big time internships, but even those micro internships, those micro learning opportunities where it's, maybe it's just a 1-day experience or 1-day event, or, one time in the classroom, they're getting all those little skills that, again, those soft skills that employers are looking for right now. They're getting that, and some of it's just even getting confidence, right? Learning more about themselves, filling the gaps that, those areas of growth where they can, see themselves getting better and improving every time. Getting out there and having those experiences firsthand lets them really put that to the test, which is awesome.
That is so cool. So, in your particular use case, did you follow any best practices that you put in place for the success of the program overall? For example, like, did you follow a particular approach to make it more effective or anything like that?
What we tried to do, especially when we connected it with the curriculum, is we
Mm-hmm.
tried to implement and use certain content that blended with what we were already doing in the classroom. And it's somewhat progressive, if that's the best way I can describe it, where they're moving towards an end result. They're moving towards an end competency that they're going to have at the end of that term or that semester, or even at the midway point of the semester, or we want to have them to have certain competencies by the time they go and experience that event, or they go online to do that online internship. So it's kind of progressive, where we're chipping away and building at those skills throughout the course of the semester, or a certain timeline in the semester, to build up those certain competencies, so that they can be super successful in the experience and then beyond graduation as well.
Awesome. Awesome. How do you feel that your students benefited from using field
Oh my
experience?
goodness. I think they learn a lot about themselves, good, bad, and otherwise. Some of them really, they come in gangbusters. I'm going to be a sport marketer, or I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then once they start to learn more about what that actual title entails, they change their mind. So I think what field experience does is it allows them to build just core competencies, just having a good foundation, but it also allows them to start to figure out what they want to do with the degree. I have had just as many students go on an experiential learning adventure, if you want to call it, go there and like I'm going to do this, Professor Dougherty, this is what I want to do with my career. And then they go experience it and they completely change their mind. Nope, don't want to do that. Not what I thought it was. Or they all of a sudden find something in themselves that they never knew they had that lends itself in a different direction career-wise. So that's what I love about it, is seeing them grow and develop and kind of blossom as students and figure out what they're really, really good at, what they're really passionate about. And sometimes, again, they change their mind. Sometimes they're set and that's where they go and they stay in that lane. Other times they completely change direction. I think the experiential learning opportunities and the learning and development that happens through field experiences gives them the confidence to really figure out what they want to do. And again, and like I said, it fills some of those gaps. Like I have some students that are more introverted. And so they have to learn how to deal with clients and how to do those interpersonal communication connections with clients, and putting them, in front of clients in a real life situation allows them to develop those skills. And we break it down afterwards. What went well? What didn't go well? How could you have handled that situation differently? It's a way for us to create those real-time experiences that I can talk about in the classroom, but I really can't manufacture that experience in the classroom. So when they go and they're right there at that event and having that experience, we can then talk about it after in real time. And it's really fun to see them grow and develop and like I said, blossom as students and get stronger in certain capacities that they didn't think they could. So that's what I think is the best part about it, is seeing the students grow and develop and build confidence in themselves and figure out what they want to do in their career.
And so this question kind of drills down on that a little bit deeper, but where did you see the greatest elevation of the upskilling for your participants?
I don't want to sound like I'm redundant here, but I think
that's okay.
I think it's just confidence.
Yeah.
It's like, confidence in those core competencies of, again, speaking with clients, critically thinking and problem solving, in the time, not looking for somebody to fix the problem for them to be able to actually think through whatever the circumstance or situation is. So I would say confidence, I would say critical thinking, being able to problem solve is a big area as well. And I think it's somewhat individual to each student. I think some students, it is maybe the interpersonal communication and connection. Some of them is having the confidence to make a tough decision and not having to rely on somebody to tell them what to do. I'm just trying to think of some of the experiences in my head. I'm going through a few students right now. Like we had one student that we put her front facing at an event.
Yep.
And she figured out really quickly, although she grinned and bared it through the whole event, realized that she doesn't want to be front of house. She wants to be in production. So I think it's very individual and independent to each student, the biggest growth areas happen. I think some of it, again, is just figuring out what they do and don't like, what they are and aren't passionate about. And then again, just maybe filling the gaps on some of those other, problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, communication skills, just being able to use what they're learning in the classroom in real time. So I'm sorry if I just kind of babbled on to answer your question, but
no, this is awesome. And thank you again so much, because it really just is so important for us to hear, exactly how your experience was. And so this is awesome. Final question.
Okay.
Would you recommend field experience to a colleague, a college or a university?
100%, because I feel like because of our connection with Joey Lynn at Concordia, we were somewhat ahead of the curve a little bit. And when I told people, even my own family members, what we were doing at Concordia, like Super Bowl, Rose Bowl, Final Four, all that, they were like, what? Little Concordia University is doing that? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Talk about, you were mentioning Michigans of the world, you talk about the Michigans of the world that we're kind of somewhat in competition with, here we were, this little tiny university, and having these amazing opportunities. And again, obviously that's a testament to having Joey Lynn in our back pocket. But I think it's so great because it marries the real-time curriculum that we're teaching in the classroom with things that are actually happening in the industry right now, the events that are happening right now. So I would highly recommend it, because I think it just gives those real-time experiences for students so they can see what we're talking about in the classroom. Oh, hey, that just happened at this event. And I've even had that opportunity, because I typically go along with the students and kind of work alongside with them. And I've even seen it for me in building and developing my curriculum in the classroom, because experiences have happened for me where, and I talk about it in the classroom. Hey, when I was at the Final Four, this is what happened. Let me tell you about this marketing situation that happened. And, so as I'm talking about certain content in the classroom, I can say this just happened last month at the Final Four. So I think it marries and matches what we're doing in the classroom with real-time, current, relevant, stuff that's happening in the industry. So I would definitely recommend it. I'd highly recommend it. I love the piece where we can connect it to the classroom, but that the students can also do some independent stuff on their own.
Yep.
If there's certain competencies that they need to work on, they can spend a little extra time on that, doing the L&D that you guys, the online classrooms that you guys have, and programs that you have, I think are really great for individual growth as well. So it's kind of a combination of doing it collectively in the classroom, but also giving the students an opportunity to do some stuff on their own to build in certain areas, certain gaps that they might have, or even just we have some students that are just super gung-ho to like, I want to get as much as I can out of this experience. They just want to go, learn. So I think that's what Field X allows us to do, those experiences with the students, which is awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.